but we will go ahead and get started. And for the while I'm looking around, I've worked with all of you guys and all of your players very extensively over the last few years, and everybody is on the right track. That makes me happy. What I wanted to start off doing is introducing myself and giving you guys my background with tennis and kind of compare that to where you guys are at now. I played tennis at Brownsburg. I played 2.5 years of tennis in high school. The 2.5 years was because of suspensions for my grades, and and my senior year I didn't make varsity, so I didn't play. I only played one varsity match. It was for senior night. I had a broken collarbone. It was against Danville, and we still won. That is my tennis history. I quit tennis after that. I was done. I left my tennis rackets in the locker room in a dramatic display of, I'm not playing this sport anymore. I'm 100% done. And the off season, also we got coffee back here for you guys if you guys are interested. Please help yourselves.
Hot chocolate and tea.
Hot chocolate and tea too. I am not a coffee drinker, so. So during the off season, what my off season looked like is dramatically different than your off season players in here. My off season usually went like this. I would play the school, like the boys season in the fall, and then I would start playing here at West Indy until about December, January, until report cards came out. And then you guys know the rest of the story. Grades aren't good, pull you out of tennis. Go back in the summertime to Brownsburg, that summer camp run by the Gentrys, play the school season, rinse and repeat, right? That's essentially how my off seasons went. So with you guys being here right now, we're already ahead of the curve of where I was at your age. So what you guys always hear from us is you need to be playing matches. And tennis is much different than other sports like soccer, basketball, football, baseball, where you practice and then we play a game, right? And I think that's one of the reasons we lose a lot of players, because a lot of coaches, they expect you to know what to do. And I can tell you guys, there's no parent handbook for having a tennis kid, right? There's no guideline, there's a lot of confusion until you ask the coach, and then the coach is sometimes like, you should know this already. I've been teaching tennis this is my 9th year, and I'm still learning what to do. And everything I know is from just experiencing it and being around other coaches, being around other players, and just hearing what they did in the off season. And I feel like I would have loved tennis more as a high schooler and as a middle schooler if I was playing matches. Now, kind of ripping off that Band-Aid is tough to do, right? Getting kids to play that first match, because we hear words like tournament, right? And we conflate, I don't even know if that's the right word, but we make these matches a bigger deal than they are, right? Do you ever play basketball, or Kenzie, or you guys ever play like basketball, soccer, any other sports like that? Yeah. I remember like playing soccer and basketball, and I played football, and like not really caring about like what happened, right? Because everybody has their own job. All I have to do is my job, and maybe we win, maybe we lose, but I did my job, right? In tennis, that's not the case, right? In tennis you can play a perfect match and still lose, and that's stressful, right? Being a loser in a solo competition like that is tough, right? And what I want to do is I want to get everybody who comes to West Indy and who's in our program to understand why I'm having you guys play matches, why we have you guys play matches, even though when we run tournaments like we did last weekend, there's only gonna be one winner. So we had 50 players, we had 3 draws, so only 3 people won, and you're gonna be famous now. Thanks. Only 3 people won. That means we had 47 losers last weekend, right? And I think that that's a great thing, right? That's a great thing, because everybody went out there, everybody who played went out there and competed, right? So what I want to do is I want to bring attention to what our philosophy is at West Indy. Brownsburg players, I can tell you I stole this from Spencer. So this is also our philosophy at Brownsburg, but it's a 3-thing system. You guys can find it under the WIRC approach. It is, you're going to practice, then you're going to play, and then we're going to evaluate. If you guys notice, I'm the only one who's running tournaments, right? That's so that I can watch you guys play and see what, one, I need to work on as a coach, like what is the core thing that my players are struggling with, and two, see what you guys as individuals need help with. That's the only reason I want you guys to play, right? Whether it's mental, whether it's a weird forehand, whether it's serving issues, right? I mean, we're not getting, if we're not completing that whole cycle, we're not getting the full experience of being a successful tennis player, a high-performing tennis player, or just a tennis player that's having fun, right? And we're getting to the point now where a year ago, if I asked a player, a middle school player, how they played, they're gonna say good or bad, and that was basically it. And now I'm getting full, very thoughtful evaluations from 6th graders and 7th graders that I wasn't getting a year ago, right? And that shows me that this system is working, okay? The big thing that we've been talking about is UTRs, right? And I think it is a great system, and I also think that it is the worst system ever devised. I think that it's awful as well. Now, there's a way to use UTR in a way where it's not super stressful, where we're not checking every single day, what is my UTR today, right? How many people do that? Do you guys do that? I see Ashton, I know it, because we've talked about it, right? We've talked.
Checked it this morning.
What is it? Where are we at? We're up to you're a 3? You're almost a 3? When did that happen? Oh. Okay. UTR is it's a very, very, it's a computer based, it's an algorithm that kind of figures out what your UTR is based on your 30 best matches, and it can be a nightmare if it's not used the right way. The way I use UTR as a coach, right? I should say I use UTR like you guys do, or you guys did, right? When I first started getting into coaching full time, professionally, I was checking every single day. What's so-and-so's UTR, right? And I was stressed out about it, right? But it's gonna go up and down. What I do is I look over a long period of time, right? I've coached every person in this room for longer than a year. Ashton, I've coached you since 6th grade, 7th grade, right? And you're a junior now,
yeah.
Right? Coached you guys as long as you guys have been playing tennis. Charlie, I've coached you for a while. I've coached Joey for a while. I've coached Gabe for a long time, right? So I've coached you guys for more than a year, right? So what I do is I track UTRs over the span of 3 to 12 months, right? So I'm not looking week to week, what is your UTR today, what is your UTR today? Because it's not about what you are doing that's going to directly impact your UTR. It's what you're doing and everybody who you've played against, what they're doing. That's what impacts your UTR, right? So if we're looking every week, you guys are gonna drive yourself crazy and hate tennis, and every time I say UTR, you guys are gonna get sick to your stomachs, right? What I'm seeing is an improvement, and hopefully this number improves, but in the course of a year, I am seeing an improvement of about 1 point a year, okay? On average for players, right? So if you think about your UTR today, think about by the time you're a senior in high school, we can do the math and we can kind of figure out where you're going to be if everything goes well. Okay. Now, like I said, hopefully I become a better coach, and then in between now and when you are a senior in high school, Ashlyn, I'm sorry, but those are the numbers that I am seeing now. I'm seeing that we are improving about 1 point a year, and every 6 months we are seeing a pretty substantial leap. Okay. That is how I want us to use UTR, so that it's not driving us crazy, freaking us out, making us frustrated, because I care very little about the actual number. I care more about the trend, right? What I really care about is if you're having fun or not, right? And if we're tracking our UTR every single day, that doesn't sound fun to me, right? What I want to look at now is just to kind of put our UTRs into perspective. So what we're looking for, so a lot of you guys are in the 1.0 to 2.0 class or the 2.0 to 4.0 class. Actually, that's, everybody here, UTRs are between 1 and 4, okay? What I'm looking for is players who are in high school with about a 5 to 7 UTR, okay? And the reason for that is if we look at The collegiate UTRs, we did this math yesterday. The average UTR of the IUPUI men is a 10.6. UND women is an 8.6. Rose-Hulman men is an 8.24. And then Marion with an A, supposed to have an A there, women is a 7.05. Now, do I expect every single person in this room to want to go and play college tennis? No. Right? Some people get burnt out after high school. I've seen that a million times. I'm trying my best to make sure that that doesn't happen by, again, not focusing on what your UTRs are, right? If we do that, you're gonna get burnt out by the time you're a senior. You're gonna hate tennis, and then maybe you'll come back in a few years and be an assistant coach at Brownsburg or something. That's what I did. So the reason I mean, if you have goals, right? If you have goals, you see where we have to be, right? This is the range. This is based on 6 players. So it doesn't have to be an 8.6 for you to be successful. You don't even have to be a 7 to be successful in tennis. That is a very, very good tennis player, right? But what my job is to get you to where you want to be, if you want to be there, right? I know a lot of us aren't even thinking about college right now, or playing in college, or some of us aren't even thinking about high school yet, right? We're just trying to get through the weekend. But I don't want that door to be shut on us once we do decide, like, hey, you know what? I enjoy tennis. I wish I wouldn't have, I wish I would have paid more attention in clinic. I wish I would have played more matches, right? I want that door to still be open for you once we get to that point, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So there's another system. So we talked about UTR. We also have World Tennis Number. It is USTA's, I shouldn't even say USTA, it is ITF, the International Tennis Federation's way to rate people as well. So you can achieve a WTN, which I can tell you guys right now, that's being used more professionally, right? When we look at colleges are using UTR. They're looking at players' UTR before they, whenever they're recruiting. But WTN, World Tennis Number, is another system. Doesn't really matter. I don't check WTNs or anything like that. I don't know if colleges do or not, but you get that through USTA tournaments, right? So we have all the events here. We have a lot of UTR events here, and the idea behind these events is you get used to competing, right? I mean, Kenzie and EJ, how many times have you guys played each other? 5. Yeah. Played 5 times, right? Is that, do you feel like playing each other, that's gonna give you a good sense of who else is out there? No, right? But we're competing, right? The idea behind these events that we have here is to get you guys used to competing and then branch out a little bit, right? I love when you guys come and compete here. I love watching you guys play. I've got a player right now who's playing in Cincinnati, right? He played in the Snowflake Open. He got used to playing in events around here. He wanted to do more, and so now he's playing in Cincinnati. They travel locally, they travel or they go out of state, but they're always playing. He's always playing in events, and USTA matches. It's a USTA tournament he's playing in. USTA matches do affect your UTR, but UTR matches don't affect your World Tennis Number, if that makes sense. Okay? I've got just a little bit more, and then I'll open it up to questions. This actually didn't last as long as I thought it would, so that's pretty good. Okay, going back to these Indiana colleges, if you're looking at those numbers and you're like, my UTR isn't even close to that, this seems impossible, I can tell you guys right now that there are colleges if we look at a Hanover, right? I've got a player who played at Hanover who UTR is a 3.33, right? If you love tennis and want to play in college, that can happen. If you want to play Division I, that can happen, right? We just have to set those goals for ourselves now, and then we can start kind of chipping away at that, right? That makes sense? Okay, do you guys have any questions for me? This is easy. I think it helps if you guys, yeah, go ahead. I've got mixed feelings about that. So high school matches brings me to a good point. So we suggest 50 to 60 matches a year, including your school matches, right? So if in a tournament you get 2 or 3 matches, then we're looking at, I can't even do the math right now. You guys, I mean, I'll just see student. You guys heard the intro. But you get 20 matches a year through your school, and then 30 matches for the rest of the year. I mean, it can be done. So, any other questions?
So, like you're saying Cincinnati, so is there a way that you can help us?
Absolutely.
Like, this would be a good one for these kids to
Absolutely.
go to, because that's kind of overwhelming when you're like, oh, well, maybe not. Like, which ones would be appropriate for
Absolutely.
their level and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm getting better with myself. Like, so we look at USTA, you go on USTA and you're looking for tournaments, and it's like level 7, level 6. I'm like, which one do I sign up for? I can tell you guys level 7 is like the lowest level, and then so they usually pick from the bottom up as far as world tennis number, and then level 6 followed by that. So I would start off by doing level 7s. If you feel like, okay, I'm crushing everybody in level 7s, this isn't fun, then we'll start doing level 6s, right? And then level 5s, and then level 1 is essentially like a pro event. Yeah. But I can definitely do that. Like, these are the tournaments in the area, and for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely do that. Would it be helpful if I sent out like a email every?
Yeah, like these ones are coming up.
Yeah, for
because it
sure.
is overwhelming, especially with multiple kids and multiple things to like check all of them.
Yeah, 100%. I can definitely do that. I can definitely do that. Do you guys have any other questions for me? Are we ready for girls season? I can tell you guys, so middle schoolers, I can tell you guys that I had players who were very, very nervous for the start of their middle school season, who were doing the exact same things that you guys are doing, if not less. And they felt very good for their middle school season. So the last thing I'll say is, unless you guys have any more questions, is the way that we practice here is we practice to make your competitive season feel easy, right? I'm probably going to be tougher on you, well, except for Ashlyn. You deal with me year round. But I try to make the practices and the lessons and all that we have here tougher than you're gonna see during your season. And that's going to be you, Charlie, when you go to North Central for your freshman year. This should be tougher than what you guys do during the season, right? And I think that'll be a good thing. So if you're nervous about your 7th grade year, your 6th grade year, everything is gonna be good, okay? Ashlyn, try not to yell at your parents this year. All right, do you guys have any more questions for me? All right, well, IUPY is playing Marquette out there. If you guys want to hang out and watch, I'll be hanging out for a little while. If you guys think of any more questions, grab some coffee, grab some hot chocolate. And yeah, if you guys think of anything, please shoot me an email or corner me during clinic when everybody's picking up. I'm trying not to pick up anyway. So, all right, thank you guys so much. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys on the next one.